Hey, what it do, Sports World, and welcome to the Real Untouchable Podcast, man, with me, Ray Dig. And I got a great segment for you all tonight. I want to talk about the NBA playoffs, why I feel the Boston Celtics will win in four, and have Ant-Man finally arrive at the next face of the NBA as LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant gets ready to pretty much go on over the hill. Is Ant-Man ready to take that next step? Hey, before I get started, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. And also, I want to say happy Teachers Appreciation Week, Nurses Appreciation Week, and also the Correction Officers Appreciation Week as well, and the First Responders Appreciation Week. I just want to throw that out there as well. Of course, the correctional, because that right there was really the first job that I had, the first real job that I had before I came to the military. But yeah, so that's right there was one of the biggest stepping stones in my career was being a correction officer. But listen, before I get started, man, hey, make sure you all go subscribe to my other podcast as We Are All Winners, the podcast, Ray Diggs. Make sure y'all go there. But listen, let's go ahead and jump into this thing, man. Let's talk about the NBA. And like I keep telling you all, the Boston Celtics pretty much has been dominant the last four games, pretty much putting up monstrous numbers. And just what they did it again tonight. The Boston Celtics pretty much dominated the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, 120-95. Another dominant outing. And I said it. I was talking to somebody today, and I was telling them, I was like, man, you know what? It's gonna be crazy because I got a feeling if they end up winning the NBA championship, Derek White might be the MVP. And guess what? He was the MVP again tonight. 25 points, 7 3-pointers. Man, he's been pretty much lighting it up from three the last few games. At least after the Miami Heat's won game two, Derek White, it's pretty much been the Derek White show. He's pretty much been dominating, but it was a hell of a game for the Boston Celtics. You had Jason Tatum with 18 and 11 and 5. Drew Holiday with his normal 14, 6 rebounds, but great defense. And then, like I said, Derek White, 25 and 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And he also was 7 for 12 from 3. And then Jaylen Brown, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 12 for 18. He also had 4 threes. Then you had Pruitt came off the bench and hit another 4 threes. The Boston Celtics hit 18 3-pointers tonight. This right here, this Boston Celtics team, when they're clicking like this, I honestly feel that nobody can beat them. Okay, besides maybe the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think this is brewing as a clash right now. A collision. They're on a collision course right now. The Boston Celtics and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay. And like I said, man, I said it in the as you can see in the caption, the Boston Celtics will win this game, will win this series in 4 or 5 games. I'm going right now with the Boston Celtics in 4. I don't think they're gonna take it easy how they took it easy against the Miami Heat in the first round. I think that this series right here is gonna be pretty much sweep. The Boston Celtics will get ready and go and get prepared for whoever makes it out the conference, whether the second round between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. As you know, the New York Knicks won last night. Let's talk a little bit about last night's game. Let's talk about the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers. I thought the Indiana Pacers would win this game. They was up by 9 with 10 minutes to go, and I thought it was over. But then Jalen Brunson pretty much took over the game. Now, when we look at these two teams, y'all, when you look at the entire Indiana Pacers starting lineup, all of them had under 37 minutes. Okay, you got Miles Turner played 35. You got Siakam played 37. All of them played under 37 minutes. When you go to the New York Knicks, all of their starters, besides Hartenstein, played over 40, at least 42 minutes. All right, Obanobi pretty much 42 minutes. Dimachenko 44. Josh Hart 48, all 48 minutes. And Jalen Brunson with 44. Now, can they sustain this? And I was hearing a lot of analysts today saying that this right here is sustainable. Now, it's possibly that it is sustainable, and I'm going to tell you all why. If it was like it was with the Lakers series, with the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets, it's not going to be sustainable because the Denver Nuggets, not the Denver Nuggets, but the New York Knicks will be getting ready to play again tomorrow because they played last night. But being that they got an entire week off, maybe it is sustainable. All right, maybe it is sustainable because they play Monday, they don't play again till Friday. I don't know why this schedule come from, but they don't play again till Friday. And the one thing that I think is Adam Silver. If you're gonna do this right here for the second round, why not do it for the second? Why not do it for the first round? Why not give them two days or 3 days in between games? You know, they're playing every other game, every other night. You know, and if you're gonna do it for the second round, where they got an entire week off, you might as well maximize it in the first round as well. You know, so that's the only thing that I was worried about, and that's the only thing that I can see that maybe it is sustainable if they can continue to get these days off in between. And like I said, you know who's gonna score. It's gonna be Jalen Brunson. That's the one guy you have to stop. And the one thing that I think that's the reason why I say the New York Knicks won't beat the Boston Celtics if they face against each other is because what do the Boston Celtics have? They have somebody that can stop him with Drew Holiday. I'm not saying they can shut him down, but he can dang show slow him down. You know, I feel like he's gonna make it tough. If he scores 40, he's gonna earn that 40. I just don't think he's working hard enough, against these other teams. And also another thing, Indiana don't have the one thing that you need in the playoff is a closer. They do not have a closer. I think Indiana is gonna somehow win this series. A lot of people is against me. I think that the Indiana Pacers will somehow win this series against the New York Knicks. Okay. I think that they'll win. I think that the Indiana Pacers might take game two. If they can slow down, and like I said, if they can slow down Jalen Brunson, you have to slow him down. You can't let him come out here and score 40. Okay. Now you might have to throw two players at him. You might have to trap him. You might have to do some things. And if it was me, I'm going all out on the defensive side and say, you know what? I cannot let this guy beat me. Okay. And Halliburton, he just, I don't know if he hurt or what, but he was pretty much a non-factor. He was 2 for 6, 2 for 5 from 3. So that tell me he only took one other two-pointer. And also he had 6 points and 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 rebounds, and 3 turnovers. So, and then in the fourth quarter, he pretty much was non-existent. Okay. And that's the thing that I'm saying when I'm talking about this team. When I'm talking about the Indiana Pacers, they do not have a closer. The closest closer that they have is Siakam. That's the only player that I can honestly say that can get his own shot besides Halliburton. And Halliburton has pretty much been, I don't know if it's a back injury or what, he's just struggling. But he is struggling right now. And like I said, Siakam is the closest thing that they have to a closer. And he played, okay. He didn't play good, but somebody have to close for this team. You had Obi Toppins came off the bench and had 12, 6, and 3. And he was pretty much a plus 4 off the bench. TJ McConnell came out there and gave him 18 points. So if you getting these points from these players, why not take out? Why not? Like I said, I might have to take out Halliburton. I might have to put Halliburton on the bench, and I might have to go with TJ McConnell in the final second. That may be what you have to do if he's not giving you what you need. Halliburton has been a turnover machine. He's pretty much been non-existent in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. That's just my opinion. Okay. And then when we go to, like I said, the Ant-Man. Ant-Man has arrived, y'all. He has arrived. I think he's about to take the next step in being the face of the league, the face of the entire NBA. A lot of people want it to be Wemby. Okay, yeah, Wemby might be it. But listen, you can't be the face of the league and your team getting the number 1 draft pick every year. That's just my opinion. You won't be you just can't do it. Okay. And I think that the NBA is pushing it. Every NBA want Wemby to be the face of the league. And not only I love Wemby. I know people think I don't like him. He's a hell of a player. Okay. But he just reminds me of Kristaps Porzingis. It's like people act like we hadn't seen a very tall player that can dribble, shoot, and all this other stuff, block shots. Like we've seen it. Okay. We've seen it in Kristaps Porzingis. He's probably not as polished as him, but he's just they pretty much the same player. Okay, but hey, let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets pretty much was demolished last night on their home court. Ant-Man. And guess what? This right here was without the defensive player of the year. Matter of fact, congratulations to Rudy Gobert for winning his 4th defensive player of the year. One of the only players to ever win 4 defensive players a year. I know a lot of people saying Wemby, but this is what I don't get. How can Wemby be the defensive player of the year when he's not playing right now? Okay, his team battled to be the number one. The number one. His team is battling to get that ping pong ball for the number 1 overall pick. So how can you be a defensive player of the year when your team had the second or third worst record in the league? Okay, like we're not gonna go away from it. Like, oh yeah, but he's the best defensive player. He still have to have at least a couple wins for his team. Like, we're just not gonna go all the way away because I see what they're trying to do, just like they did with Jokic. Jokic, he was a really really good player, and they kept giving him MVPs. Okay, so it's never been the best player in the league that got MVP because LeBron James was the best player in the league for years, and he did not win all those MVPs. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. It was always the better player that won these awards. So let's not stop this now. Okay, let's not try to end it now. But anyway, let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. The Minnesota Timberwolves went down to Denver and beat them by 26 points, 106-80. And when it was 65-30, what it was, 35 at halftime, I knew that this game right here was pretty much over with. I have never seen a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves that plays defense like that. I seen that one play, one possession, where they was on a full court press. Let me ask y'all a question. When the last time we seen an NBA team do a full court press? I can't remember the last time I seen an NBA team do that. But they was full court pressing. I'm talking about they was pretty much hunting. They was hounding Jamal Murray. And like I said, Jamal Murray is really struggling. Okay. When I took at the Denver Nuggets, Aaron Gordon had 20 points. Nikola Jokic had 16, 16, and 8. But when you look at Murray pretty much had 8 points, 13 rebounds, okay, with 2 assists. And then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he was struggling even in the LA Lakers series. But when you go down to that bench, you look at their bench, okay, you basically had 2, 2, 2, 3, and then you had Justin Holiday had 13 points, but it was a non-factor 13 points. It wasn't like, oh man, he had 13 points. It really affected the game because it never did. Okay, but then when we go up here and we had Alexander 14 points off the bench, and I always say that Alexander is a really, really key piece for this Minnesota team if they allow him to play. The dude can play. He used to play down in New Orleans. He was a really good player. Okay. And then we had Reed come off the bench, 14 points, 5 rebounds. And then, like I said, Ant-Man and Cat, 27 apiece for both of these players. Cat had 27 and 12. Ant had 27 and 7 assists. And like I said, Mike Conley didn't even have to do too much. He's just the leader on the court, 2 for 5. He pretty much had 6 assists, 4 points. And same thing with Anderson and McDaniels. They had 11 points combined. But what they brought to the table was that defensive intensity. Okay. These dudes right here, pretty much McDaniels, they was pretty much out here just blocking Jokic. Okay. Making everything hard for him. And like I said, when they get ready to head back to Minnesota, which is when Thursday, they should be playing again. Well, they play again on Friday. Yeah, Minnesota play again on Friday. Actually, New York play on Wednesday. I don't know where I got Friday from, but yeah, they play on Wednesday, and then on Friday, the Denver Nuggets will play again in game 2, in game 3 in Minnesota. Now, this series right here is going to be very interesting. But if the Denver Nuggets loses the game 3, I think it's a sweep. Okay, I just don't think they're going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 4 straight times. Like, I'm already leaning towards 4-1, and the reason why is because I've never seen a defensive team without their 4-time defensive player of the year play defense the way they play defense against Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. That's the 2 things you have to do. And I was telling somebody this today. The Lakers had the series. The Lakers were led every single game. Most of the games, the Lakers led by at least 10. One game, they was up by 20, and they ended up losing the game. Why? It's because they didn't have an Anthony Edwards. The Anthony Edwards that the Minnesota Timberwolves have, that's what LeBron James used to be. He used to be the type of player that we knew he would finish the game. The Lakers don't have a finisher. We would think it would be Anthony Davis, but somehow he just disappeared and don't want to come to work. Like I said, like he's just a part-time worker. But that is the thing. And then you tap him one time, he hurt for the rest of the game. So that's the difference between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the LA Lakers. So the Denver Nuggets really have their hands full because they have a younger team, a more defensive team, and this team right here ain't gonna give up no 20-point lead, 10-point lead. These dudes coming put foot to net against the Denver Nuggets. They're the defending champions, and I feel like they're gonna treat them like the defending champions. Because the defending champions are gonna always get everybody best shot. Okay, so that's why I think the Minnesota Timberwolves and Ant Man is the closer. Ant Man is pretty much gonna close the game. You don't have to worry about an Anthony Davis and LeBron James, not knowing how to close the game. Ant Man is gonna close the game. Cat has been playing a hell of a series, and you heard it here. If the Minnesota Timberwolves win this series, I honestly feel like they're gonna get to the NBA Finals. Now, right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who a lot of people counted out, is winning right now by 12 in the fourth quarter with 9 minutes and 48 seconds to go. But they're up by 12, 92 to 80. We're actually 94 to 82 right now with 9 minutes and 28 seconds to go. Okay. And I just think that the OKC might end up winning this series. They're younger, they're more explosive. But the one thing I can say is that Oklahoma City better keep Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in check, because if they let them get stupid and get them go crazy, ballistic, it's gonna be a long series. But right now, they pretty much holding them in check. Now, if they can win this game and they can win this game, go up 2-0, I think the OKC Thunder pretty much win this game. But they got to make sure they stay on these two, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. But right now, it's 94 to 82. But like I said, if the Denver Nuggets loses game 3, this series is over with. A lot of people think it's already over with because they pretty much, I'm looking at the fatigue. I'm looking at Jamal Murray throwing fits. They didn't even suspend him. They fined him $100,000. Anybody else, Draymond Green or anybody else that the NBA don't like, they would have definitely fined him. The coach, Malone, came out there on the bench, off the bench, cussing at the referee, did not even get a tech. You got Jamal Murray throwing stuff on the court. He threw a towel on the floor. He threw a heating pad on the floor. Nothing. I just don't understand the NBA. Adam Silver, I just don't, like I said, I just don't like dude, to be real, which I think that he's fake. I think that he do things, just at that moment, just like Black Lives Matter. He did that for that moment. He is a moment type of commissioner. A lot of people love him. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I just feel like, and then you come and you confirm the offensive foul call against Miles Turner in the Indiana game. Clearly was a flop, but they want to confirm it. Oh yeah, it was confirmed. There was a charge. No, it wasn't. It was a flop. He flopped on that play. But that's the thing that I say with the NBA. The NBA, they know who they want to win, and they're gonna go through big measures to get that team to win. And that's what I think, happened in that series. They need New York to get to the NBA. They need New York to get to at least the Eastern Conference Final. Okay. But like I said, the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, they on their neck. I think Ant-Man them gonna come out there in game 3 and put together another monstrous game. And I think they're gonna take a 3-0 series. Tomorrow we got Indiana, New York. I'm gonna go with Indiana to steal game 2. Okay, I'm gonna go with Indiana. And then on Thursday, we got Cleveland and Boston again. Like I said, I'm going with Boston again. I think Boston sweeps this series. I didn't see nothing out of the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Boston came out there, basically put their foot on their neck, and they didn't look back. And I think that's how this series is gonna go. I think they're gonna put their foot on their neck the entire series, and they're gonna dominate the entire series. Okay, and I expect for this series to be over with in 4 or 5 games. Now, I'm gonna give you all my predictions, who I think is gonna make it. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves will get to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, I think that the OKC Thunder will figure out a way how to get to the Western Conference Final. The Minnesota Timberwolves, OKC Thunder will go to the Western Conference Final. In the East, I'm going with Boston and Indiana. I think the Indiana is going to find a way to steal a few games from this New York team. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think it's going to come down to fatigue. Okay, the 45, 46, 48 minutes, I don't think it's sustainable, especially if they play a game on Friday and they play another game on if they play a game Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain it. But y'all let me know what y'all think about these playoff matchups that I just predicted. Like I said, coming out the Western Conference Finals, coming out the West, I think it's going to be and the OKC and Minnesota, and in the West, the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. Make sure y'all continue to like, subscribe, and share the YouTube channel. I will be coming back on in a minute to give you all the big announcement on which days I will be coming on. I will be live. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. 2 days a week. That's when I will be doing all of my podcasting. So make sure y'all tune in, and make sure you all continue to show support for the teachers, the nurses, and also the correction officers and the first responders. It's their week. Okay, it's always their weeks, months, or whatever, because we know that we cannot be successful without these teachers, these nurses, and also the correction officers, because a lot of people think that correction officers is not important, but guess what? They are, because you want to know why? Because they're the one that's keeping the criminals locked up. They're the ones that have to deal with all the BS every single day and night. I'm telling y'all, that was one of the hardest jobs that I ever had. So make sure you all continue to support them. Hey, cash app them or whatever y'all got to do for those amazing people. Okay. Until next time, y'all have a great night, y'all. Thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable Podcast. Peace.